Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Related to the Game. As always, Ben, along with my brother-in-law, Prasan, we are at the end of football season, unfortunately. It's a sad time in the world. But we'll recap the Super Bowl and any closing thoughts on the NFL, and then we'll have to move on in the world to new sports. We'll get into the NBA, talk kind of some trade deadline and just kind of what's going on in the league there. We'll hit some college basketball as well, and then we'll hit on the Olympics as well, as those we're in the middle of those going on right now. So should be a fun episode transitioning away from football. Yeah, we can get right into it, starting with wrapping up the Super Bowl. I guess what do you have? What do you want to start with on the Super Bowl?
You know, it was kind of a dud of a game for most of the game, which is, you can assume that coming in. You assume that a little bit coming in with two very defensive games, defensive teams. However, I expected a little bit better. We had, obviously, Seattle won the game and they played pretty well throughout the game. I mean, defensively, offensively. New England really struggled. I mean, their one touchdown that they scored was really a garbage time touchdown there. Highlight, I think, was Kenneth Walker. It just felt like all game that he was going to be the MVP. A big debate during the Super Bowl party I was at was, should the kicker for Seattle have won the MVP? And, my take on this now, with the kicker not winning the MVP, is that there's never going to be a time that the kicker is going to win the MVP. If it wasn't this time, it's never going to happen. And so you just almost got to come out now as the NFL and say, like, hey, kickers are not eligible to win this award, because this was the game for it to happen. I mean, Kenneth Walker deserved it. Offensively, he was for sure the best player out there. But I mean, I think, the kicker won the game on his own. So if you put it in that way, I think he was the MVP. He did enough to win the game. So I think that was those are some highlights there to start.
Yeah. With the kicker, I know I was kind of thinking too, like, holy cow, we might get a kicker MVP for a while. But I mean, Kenneth Walker did stand out, and I think he was deserving of it. And I wouldn't rule out kickers winning it in the future. I mean, it wasn't all chip shots for Myers on the Seahawks, but it was nothing. It was no spectacular performance. Where if we get a Super Bowl, let's say the team wins 9-7, and they've got two of them are from 60 plus. Now you're talking kicker MVP, where his performance, he scored a boatload of points, but he didn't do anything that outstanding. He just did the routine work for the most part. So I agree with the Kenneth Walker MVP, but go ahead.
I think you've got to have a game where there's like no offensive touchdowns for the team that won, and it's just all field goals. Because as soon as Darnold threw that touchdown to AJ Barner, I'm like, for a minute there, I'm like, okay, Darnold's going to win the MVP now. If he throws that one touchdown, that's it. The kicker was eliminated, I think, at that point from the MVP, and I thought it'd be Darnold. But then Walker, he had couple big pickups, obviously. Overall, he was the one that really kind of carried them. So yeah, I think it was a good choice to make him the MVP.
Yeah, I was looking with a couple minutes left in the game. There was still betting odds. I think it was on DraftKings or something for the MVP, and the kicker was in second in odds. I mean, Kenneth Walker was like -600, and then the kicker was next best at like +900. But
yeah.
He was second in the betting odds, so he was right there. But yeah, it was brutal for your lock of the week for the Super Bowl that one breakaway run gets called back for a hold.
Called back.
Yeah, and I thought too. They kind of mentioned on the broadcast, like, that could be a Super Bowl MVP changing holding penalty potentially,
Yeah.
taking away the touchdown from him. But didn't end up mattering. But
No, it didn't.
except for
But
your lock of the week, it
for
mattered.
me, it mattered for me. It did matter to me. Um, you know, I think important here too is, Seattle won the game. Great. It was a running game and defensive game. But as I kind of expected, Jackson Smith and Jigba held in check. I mean,
He was hurt for a chunk of that game, though, too.
he did get hurt a little bit. And I actually didn't know if he was coming back for a minute. It looked like he was going to be like out. But I mean, he was targeted 10 times, caught the ball 4 times. I think, only 27 yards. I think the Patriots had a plan for him. And it worked. I think Christian Gonzalez did a good job, and defensively they did a good job. I think the problem here in the game for the Patriots was Drake May, as he had all postseason. He hadn't played very well. He was in trouble here too.
Yeah. With Jackson Smith and Jigba and Sam Darnold, I was not impressed with Sam Darnold in that game.
No.
There was, I feel like, at least 5 throws where he had a guy that had a step and they were just too far off for the guy to make the catch.
Overthrew him, yeah.
Overthrew him, threw him behind him, threw it at his feet. So, not an impressive game, but he managed to have his misses just be misses and nothing worse, which is all they ended up needing. And, it got the job done. And then on Drake May's side, I know their offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, is very experienced in Super Bowls and has been a good offensive coordinator for a long time. But I thought it was borderline malpractice. Like, they were getting dominated, and it just felt like they were doing the same thing over and over that kept on not working. Like, you needed something different because
make some adjustments.
it just felt like they were just running straight into a brick wall over and over, hoping that they'd go through it, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. I worry about the Patriots next year. They have a lot harder of a schedule. I mean, we talked about how easy their schedule was this year, and the teams they played, almost all of them fired coaches and all these kind of things. And I worry about them. Especially with how they played in the playoffs when you're facing obviously good teams and good defenses, and it just doesn't bode well for next year.
Mm-hmm. I will say though, I know it was kind of a dud of a Super Bowl, but I was actually, I'm not sure why, but I was genuinely like into it and entertained the whole time from the game.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I remember the Rams Patriots Super Bowl from like 2019 or something, and I was just bored out of my mind that whole game. This game, yes, there ended up being more points for Seattle, but even though there was 15 punts, it didn't feel like a boring game to me. I was locked in and entertained the whole time.
I think it was a close game. I mean, there was at no point was it like, until really the end, it wasn't really a point where it's like, oh, this game is out of reach for either team. It was a close game. So it was one of those two where when Drake May threw that touchdown to Mac Hollins, it was kind of like, okay, like if they go get a stop here, which they did and got the ball back, like it's a game. And so, I mean, it was a boring first half, but it was close. So you never were like unengaged. I mean, you were still interested. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it helped for me. I'm not sure entirely why, but I probably just because I picked them, but I was just naturally pulling for the Seahawks. So it was enjoyable to see in their defense just flying around, making plays nonstop. I'm sure if I was pulling for the Patriots, it would have been a pretty frustrating watch.
Yeah, for sure. I have two kind of notes here. So my first one is my favorite prop that I saw on the Super Bowl. My favorite prop was over under, would Stephon Diggs have more catches than he has children? And he did. It was under. He had less catches than children, which is something to begin with. But yeah, he has 6 kids. And the over under for him was, is he going to have 7 catches, more kids, or less catches, or more catches, or more kids? And so he ended up having more kids than catches, which is interesting. And then just a little shot at the Cowboys here. DeMarcus Lawrence, prior to this season, he left Dallas, and he said he left because he'd never win a Super Bowl there. And players took that a little bit the wrong way, and some of the fans took that. But you know what? He won the Super Bowl the next year with the team he signed with. So you know what? He had the last laugh there.
He made the right move.
He did.
Yeah. One interesting, I saw it after the fact, but there's always prop on the national anthem timing. I
Yeah.
saw a video a couple days ago of a guy that was through social media, found out when Charlie Puth got to San Francisco area. He flew
Sure.
there himself and just camped out outside the stadium waiting for them to do a rehearsal and timed it. And the rehearsal was like 10 seconds under the line. So he put a boatload of money on the under, and the under hit. So
Some
he's
people are
just playing the
dedicated.
system out
That is dedication.
I mean, if you put a massive chunk of money and it hits, it's worth your time to go
yeah.
just sit around outside the stadium for a few days and cash
Just
it out.
wait for
Yeah.
wait for them to rehearse the anthem and
Yep.
go get after it. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess what did you think about the commercials?
Maybe I was so kind of pissed off that the game was like a kind of a snooze fest a little bit that I don't know. I thought they were okay. I thought I've seen there's been better years of commercials for sure. But I thought overall they were okay. There's always the traditional, the Clydesdale horses and things like that, which are like good ones. My favorite one actually was probably the karaoke one that came on the screen. That one was just kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, they're okay. What did you think?
Yeah, I just thought they were okay. I do think there have been better years recently, but
Yeah.
I kind of have a theory built about Super Bowl commercials and how it just feels
Okay.
like they're just not as good as they used to be. Like say 10 years ago when it was like almost as entertaining as the game was. Oh, it's just so many amazing commercials. I think what it comes down to is that all the regular commercials we have throughout the year are what Super Bowl commercials used to be. So it's so much harder for the Super Bowl commercials to differentiate themselves and stand out and like be noticeably good because there's just so many higher production quality and just funny commercials out there all year
That you're getting.
it
You're
takes-
getting better ones throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I suppose that's a good theory. I also saw this year too, and I noticed just like while watching TV and whatever that there were some commercials, like State Farm ran one for an example, that they'd like run the commercial and then they'd run like half of it and then they'd put like the date, like the Super Bowl. And then they ran the second half like in the Super Bowl. So I don't know. I felt that was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, they like put out teasers for their Super Bowl
Yeah.
commercials ahead of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess, do you have any other Super Bowl topics you want to hit before we move on?
No, I think it was a good year. It was a good year, good playoffs like we kind of anticipated. I think the wild card round was the best round overall. And you have more games and more teams and things like that then. But overall, I enjoyed the playoffs. Another good year. And counting down the days now till next year.
Yep. Yeah, I think I saw it's like just over 200 days till regular season kicks off. So count it down.
Count it down.
All right. Well, I guess we can move on from football then and go over to the NBA. This is the one sport that we agree on teams. We're both rocking our Bucks apparel here
That's
today.
right.
So the big news, Giannis did not get traded before the trade deadline.
He did not.
Good news for the Bucks. Is it just delaying the inevitable? I don't know.
That's what I
But,
think.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. So you think he's going to get traded this offseason then?
I think in the offseason, yeah. I think part of the problem in the regular season, or right before the trade deadline, I think there were a couple issues. One, I think the Bucks just didn't get any good offers for him, and part of that might be because he was hurt and they didn't know what that was going to look like. Um, and I guess that actually is somewhat promising to me, because my big worry was that they were just going to take any sort of offer and just be like, hey, you know what, we'll take what we can get, and like that was the wrong mindset to have. I struggled prior to the trade deadline, or I guess during, right before. I struggled to think of like what's enough, like what is enough for him, because obviously, he's a really great player, one of the best, but it still feels like we're just not going to win with him. And it's not because of him, it's because there's just not much around him. So I struggled a little bit of like what's enough, and like an announcement would have come out that he got traded, and I would have been like, probably majority of situations I've been like, see, that's not enough. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of glad they're holding out a little bit, or did hold out a little bit. Hear out maybe more offers in the off season.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. They get more information, taking phone calls on him at the deadline,
Yeah.
and nothing wowed them enough to make the move. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you just don't make a deal. It's not worth it, and then you have more information going in the off season. And yeah, I do kind of feel like it's inevitable that he's not going to be a Buck for much longer, which is sad, but also, yeah, the team is just not in a position to compete, and it's not going to be for a while. We barely have any draft picks, and it's a bummer going back to the dark days of Bucks basketball. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
hopefully they can get a massive haul for Giannis and turn it into a young competitive team that they can build up from again. And hope you find someone in the draft like they did with Giannis. Obviously, that's a tall task, but even not someone of that caliber, but just someone that can be the
Sure.
star of the franchise and keep
I
keep the Bucks relevant.
I worry. I still don't, I guess, hate the mindset of like, hey, having a bad year this year and like tanking a little bit and seeing a little bit of where that goes. I think actually, especially they're playing a little bit better now as of late before the All-Star break. I think they're going to make the play-in, which, you know what? Don't ever apologize for winning. I don't feel bad about that. Like, hey, if we're going to make the play-in, like I'm going to root for them to win. But I with Giannis coming back now here, hopefully pretty soon, it seems like, I still think they have a chance to make a run and make the play in. And if they make the play in, who knows what happens? I mean, it could be
Yeah.
at that point, if everybody clicks, I think it's a good thing. While we're on the Bucks, I got more on Giannis and how he didn't get traded.
No.
While we're on the Bucks, I mean, I think they made two fairly decent pickups in the trade deadline. I'm gonna have to read this one off because there's so many different pieces to this. So, Osman Dieng and a second round pick were traded to the Hornets for Mason Plumlee. Then Chicago traded Kobe White and Mike Conley to the Hornets for Dieng. Then Colin Sexton for Dieng, Colin Sexton in 3 seconds, and then later Dieng was rerouted back to the Bucks for Nick Richards. So there were a lot of moving pieces there, but the Osman Dieng trade, I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a really good piece for the Bucks. Defensively is a really big key there. I think that's where he's going to play a big role for us. And I don't hate the Cam Thomas pickup either. I mean, he was virtually free. I mean, we really not much given away there. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a good move. He already basically won us a game with, I think he put 32 points in the one game, first game on the team. So I think they've made decent moves. I like that they didn't do anything drastic, but they still made some offensive push forward of like, getting some pieces. I like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with what they did there.
Yeah, and I guess, yeah, like you mentioned, building a little bit of momentum and maybe make the play in and maybe do what Jimmy Butler with the Heat did to the Bucks a couple years ago when the Heat were with the 7 or 8 seed and took out the Bucks and
Sure. Yeah.
ran all the way to the finals, I believe. So, I mean, when you've got Giannis, you can win games. That's for sure. So
Yeah, for sure.
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, I got to be honest. I've barely watched any Bucks basketball. Hopefully, I'll watch a little more coming up. Just I when it's football season, I can't really get myself to watch much basketball. It's just
Yeah.
I'm almost all in on the football season. But now that that's wrapped up, basketball season is officially started for me. Now that it's almost done, basically.
Post All-Star break, tune
Yep.
in then, and
Yep.
you got 2 months left now before the playoffs. So for sure, it is difficult with football season. I mean, there's only so much you can watch and things like that. It's I found it's really, I do a lot of tracking, especially during football season, just on my phone, watching highlights, rewatching things like that. So it is for sure hard during football season, but
Yeah, I guess moving on from the Bucks then, just other general NBA notes. What do you have any topics you want to hit on?
there were some big names that were traded in this or in this trade deadline. I mean, we had Trae Young. I mean, that's a really big name. He went to Washington. CJ McCollum, who's older name, but still a decently big name. Then in that trade went to Atlanta.
Anthony Davis is at Washington now
Yeah,
too, right?
we're gonna address that. We'll come back to that. There's
right.
much more to dive deeper into that. Nikola Vucevic from Chicago went to Boston. The thought on that for me, so they traded him. There might have been other pieces there, but Anthony Simmons went to Chicago. They must have just needed another needed a guard or needed another sharpshooter in Anthony Simmons, because I like Nikola Vucevic a lot.
He's good.
And maybe they were just, he is good. So maybe the Chicago was just, going another direction. Vucevic is a little bit older. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the direction they were going. But yeah, that one surprised me a little bit. All right. Yeah, we can address Anthony Davis now. So yeah, so Anthony Davis to the Wizards. Dallas received 2 first-round picks, 3 seconds, AJ Johnson, who was a former Buck, and then Chris Middleton and a couple other guys in there. So I guess my issue here is what are the Mavericks doing? Like, what is going on in that organization? I mean, you trade for Anthony Davis. That trade already in itself was a disaster. You traded Doncic to the Lakers. I don't remember exactly what they got for it, but nowhere near enough what they deserved to. And now, a couple years later, you're trading Anthony Davis now away.
Not even a couple years, just like 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. You're right. 1 year later, they're trading him away. He's been hurt for, it seems like half the season while he was in Dallas. So now you're trading him away. And I mean, I guess you're getting a little bit back for him. And I actually, my thought process on this is I don't think that this trade in itself is actually that bad. I think this trade in itself is fine.
Yeah,
it's when
I
you look
agree.
at the big picture. It's when you look at the big picture of like, you had Luka Doncic. What are you doing? Why did we do any of this in the first place? That's the issue. This in itself is not that bad. Big picture, it was just a disaster.
Yeah, I think Dallas got really lucky that they got the first pick to get Cooper Flag. Otherwise, they honestly aren't set up terribly for the future, considering they just traded away Luka Doncic for barely anything compared to what he's worth. But yeah, and I agree with you that what they got for Anthony Davis, pretty fair. And
yeah, it's not bad this time. No,
I'll be curious to see if the Wizards can actually be relevant next year. Trae Young, Anthony Davis, if he can be on the court at all, and some other pieces there too.
The Wizards have been so bad for so long. Yeah. I mean, it's just they've got pieces now. You're right. The Wizards are making good moves. It's just a matter of can all the pieces come together? I mean, was it like last year or 2 years ago they won like 15 games? Like it was putrid.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, especially with how long the NBA season is. Can you imagine being on an NBA team and winning like 12 games and being like, yeah, that was my season. At least in like baseball, with baseball being so long, like even if you're bad, like you're winning games. I mean, you're
Yeah.
still winning. Like the White Sox when they were bad won 45, 50 games still.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not good, but like, oh man.
Yeah, that's brutal. Like, yeah, looking at the winning percentage, a terrible team in baseball is still winning close to, I guess, over a quarter of their games at least,
Over a quarter, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, basketball, you can just go like 15 and 67 or whatever. It's just brutal.
The problem is in baseball, like everybody can have a bad day. Like you can run into a pitcher that's just having a terrible day. You can run into a team that just like can't hit the ball, and like you're gonna fall into some wins that way, even if you're a bad team. In basketball, I mean, it's just even if you're having a bad day, like three other players are having a good day still. If you're a good team, like you're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other trades you want to hit on in the NBA?
Only other one of note that I thought was also a little surprising. The Cavs traded Darius Garland to the Clippers for James Harden. That deal was pretty much straight up, and I don't know. Darius Garland's a good player. I think James Harden's like he's a better player, obviously, but a little bit older, and I actually saw from a lot of Cavs fans they're not happy with that trade. Garland had a lot of potential. He was playing well. He's younger, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't get unless the Cavs are in like, hey, we're gonna like win this thing now, which they're good, but I don't think they're there yet.
I guess maybe they're at a point with their contracts that they're gonna have to
Could be.
within the next 2 years. They were gonna be Darius Garland was gonna be a casualty anyways because they couldn't afford to pay him or something. I don't know what their contracts all look like, but maybe it was something along those lines where it
Yeah,
made sense to go more all in now with James Harden than to
could
just
be.
keep the
That
core
could be.
rolling. Because yeah, Garland's a good player, but
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what Harden does there, and yeah, we'll see, I guess. But the other NBA thing I wanted to talk about, have you seen all the stuff with the KD burner account that's been going around?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so it got figured out. He's always on Twitter, he always
Yeah.
on his phone.
Yeah.
It got someone figured out what his burner account was, and there's screenshots of all these messages he's been sending people. Like he was trashing his teammates, like saying that uh Şengün is like garbage, and I forget one of the other players on his team is like saying like he might be retarded, like bad messages about his teammates and about all kinds of people, and all these are getting leaked, and it's like it's not confirmed, but all these Twitter detectives have put so much evidence
Figured out
together
it's
that
like
like it's his burner
burner.
account,
Hmm.
and so yeah, it's just kind of it broke over All-Star break while he was away from his team, and now he got questioned about it during his media. I saw it today, and the question about what are all these things that are going around. He just kind of blew it off like that's garbage. Like I'm with my teammates; they know what the real deal is, and I'm not worried about any of that. But the internet is convinced that he got caught red-handed, and it's pretty ugly.
As an athlete, this is not just KD. This is literally anybody that has some sort of exposure to the general public, Twitter, social media, things like that. You just got to be so careful. I mean, you can't be putting stuff out there like that. You can't be using, certain words and phrases, and you can't, you just in this situation, like bad mouthing your team. Because you know what? And whether this is him or not is a different story, but you just got to be so careful about what you say, what your views are that you're vocalizing, things like that, because, it's easy to ruin your reputation at that point.
Yeah. Especially if you're just straight up talking trash about your own teammates.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's just like eventually you're gonna get caught, and people are gonna figure out what you were saying and whatever. So yeah, I just thought I've been seeing news about that and screenshots and stuff. So thought it was interesting. But yeah, I guess anything else NBA from you?
No, it's just been been watching a bit of basketball recently, and the Timberwolves are fun, the Thunder are fun. There's like good teams out there to watch that are fun to watch, and yeah, younger teams that you feel like are going to be um relevant for the near future and things like that. So yeah, I mean, we'll as the season goes on be able to talk more basketball and the playoffs starting here in 2 months, and kind of down the stretch what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well then we can switch it over a little younger and go college basketball. Um for those who don't know, Prasan's team is number 1 in the nation, Michigan. And my team is the good old Wisconsin Badgers. Um yeah, I guess
Not number one in the nation.
are you not number 1 in the nation?
No. The Badgers.
Oh, Badgers. Yes, not number 1 in the nation. They got to number 24 and then they just lost
Then
to
they
Ohio
lost.
State last night. So, yeah. Have you been following Michigan closely this year?
Oh yeah, yeah. We actually were on our trip out of the country when basketball season kind of really got kicked off and started. And right around Thanksgiving time, they always have the why am I blanking now? The little tournaments in
Yeah,
season,
yep,
if
yep.
you will.
Like the Maui
And yeah, the
Invitational,
Maui
stuff like that.
Invitational and all that kind of good stuff. And Michigan in that tournament played a couple really good teams. Auburn was one of them. Forget who the other one was, but like 2 or 3 teams they played back to back that were ranked teams, and they won both those games, and they won them both by like 30 points. And that's kind of when I was like, oh, this team's like gonna be good this year. And so then, yeah, when we got back, I started watching them, and yeah, I've been following them pretty closely. They look really, really, really hard to beat. I'm looking forward to this weekend. Michigan Duke. So 1 versus 3. We've also on the other side of that got Arizona Houston this week
yep.
as well. So it should be 2 fun games Saturday. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Michigan game this weekend. They had a good one against Purdue yesterday. They controlled most of that game. They were up 20 some points at one point. Purdue made a little run at the end and they ended up winning by 9, I think. But that was big for Big Ten seeding. Basically, the Big Ten seeding now is going to come down to, for the 1, it'll be Michigan and Illinois, and Michigan's got a 2-game lead. So I feel fairly good about that. But yeah, really well rounded. I mean, they've got some guys that are just sharp shooting the ball like crazy. They've got one big guy in Ade Mara who's been playing really well. Axel Lendenborg is good from inside the paint and as a 3-point shooter. So I think overall this team's very well rounded. It looks good. Looks like it'll be a good year, but you never know what can happen in March. So.
And you never know. Michigan has 1 loss on the year.
You do
The
know.
Badgers
We
got
do know.
them.
Yeah,
So,
the Badgers did get them.
Watch out for the Badgers. I mean, they've dropped some games that maybe they shouldn't have, but they beat Michigan. They beat Michigan State. They beat Illinois. They've got some good wins under their belt. So I feel like the Badgers are always kind of like a sneaky team that everyone's like, oh yeah, like look at their roster, like yeah, they're going to be middle of the pack, Big Ten, and then they always find their way up, like maybe not quite in the top tier, but right at the top of the next tier, below the top couple of teams. They're right there and can always compete with those top teams and steal some wins here and there. So
it's felt like with the Badgers the last couple of years. So I agree. This year they have some very good wins. I mean, the Michigan game, obviously, Illinois, Michigan State. I mean, the Michigan State game especially. They just like ran that game. I mean, that was a crazy game. I thought that'd be much closer than it was. Um, I think the thing about the Badgers is the last couple of years, they've been the team in March that, they're the 5 seed, and then all of a sudden they get matched up against the 12 seed, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. And they get upset, or, even if they win the first game, then the round of 32, they just face like, a team that's just shooting lights out and the ball, doesn't miss. And, they've been that team where it's like, man, they're probably a little bit better than what they got in the tournament. But now, I mean, it feels like they can be that team. I mean, I think first round, they have obviously everything they need to do to win a first round game. They have the capacity to do that. And then I think they could be a sneaky team in the round of 32, where all of a sudden they might be a, 9, 8, or 6, 7 seed or whatever it might be that's facing a little bit lower of a seed, and give a team a run for their money. So I think they have plenty of opportunity here. I think they're gonna play well, they're gonna play hard, and we've seen what they can do against good teams. So I'm not, by no means would I be in a position ruling them out.
Yeah, they feel like a low floor but high ceiling team. They can
Yeah.
hang with the big dogs, but they can also lose to some pretty mediocre teams. So
Right.
it's, you could go either way. You could they'll lose in the first round even if they get a decent seed, or you could say, well, if they can get a first round win and they end up against a 1, 2, or 3 seed in the next round, upset alert. Badgers could
Yeah. Right.
hang with them and take them down. So, yeah, they're always a fun team to watch. Again, I've watched a little bit of them this year, but now that football's done, I'll be trying to watch them some more. They're just always fun to watch in March, February, and yeah, hopefully they can make a little tournament run for once this year.
Come big, even before the tournament, come Big Ten tournament time, and like, who knows? I mean, they could make a run there too and improve seeding. I mean, they'll be in the tournament, but they can improve their seeding too. So that'll be. I always like conference tournament week's a fun week. I mean, that's a fun week too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then outside of the Badgers and Wolverines, it seems like it's a pretty fun year of college basketball. Arizona's been great. Duke, Houston. Like, I guess this Saturday will be a great day. Two top 4 matchups. It's just crazy. But yeah, there's been a lot of fun teams. And I'm a unique stat kind of guy, so I got pulled up here a fun stat for those of you looking to make brackets in a month. Every year since 2004, the March Madness champion has been ranked in the top 12 in the Week 6 AP poll. Those teams are Michigan, Arizona, Duke, Houston, Iowa State, UConn, Purdue, Michigan State, Gonzaga, Louisville, Alabama, and BYU. So, as you fill out your brackets in a month, one of those teams should be your winner if the trend that has been going for 21 years now will continue. Just a fun little stat there.
There's a lot of good teams in there. You would think the winner's probably coming from there, but that is an interesting stat. The stats in this day and age are getting so interesting. I mean, you'll be watching a game and they'll be like, "Wow, this is the," especially baseball. It's like, "Oh, you know what? Well, there's never been a guy that's hit a home run on the third pitch of the, third inning," and it's like, oh my God. But yeah, there are crazy stats out there. So that's an interesting one. Who do you like? I mean, not overall, but in general, what teams have you been, are you high on? What teams are you maybe think are a little fraudulent? Where are you at?
I like Duke. I think they're the real deal. But I think Michigan is also the real deal. So that I think that's gonna be a great matchup on Saturday. Outside of those, I did like BYU as a team that could make a big run, but they got that one,
Got hurt.
like their second best player tore his
Hurt.
ACL or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and he's done. I liked Texas Tech, but JT Toppin, it just broke news that he tore his ACL. He's their All-American stud player, so that's a bummer for them. Um, how about good old Nebraska ball over there in Nebraska? Those guys have been really good this year. They're just, for me, Nebraska, at least over the last couple of years, are a team that if you don't care who wins, they're fun to watch. But if you're playing against them and you're rooting for the other team, just frustrating. They're just annoying, and I don't know. That just their style. It's a fun style, but it's just they're tough to play against, and they're frustrating to play against. So, um, that's a fun team there. What about you? What teams do you really
Yeah,
like or don't
I
like?
I ha- I have them noted also. Nebraska. I think they're going to be a surprising team going into March. I think they're, like you said, frustrating to play against them. I think oppose whoever they get in, I guess, the Big Ten tournament and in the big tournament. I think they're going to be frustrated. They're a frustrating team. It looks like they're a frustrating team to play against. Miami, Ohio, undefeated.
Yeah,
Undefeated, hasn't lost. 26-0. I think the hard part about teams like that, you look at teams like Duke, Michigan, Arizona, Houston, teams that have one or two losses, three losses. You know, people are just so much more impressed with those teams because of who they've played. It's equally impressive to go 26-0. I don't care who you play. At some point, you're going to run into adversity. You're going to run into teams that are on a hot night. You're going to run into teams that are gelling and playing well together. I don't care who you play. To go 26-0 is pretty impressive. So I think Miami, I don't think people are going to like sleep on them, but I think they'll be a surprising team because I still think they're going to be I think they're going to be a 8-9 seed maybe. They're gonna, just based on strength of schedule.
hmm
And I think they're gonna give some teams a run for their money. I think they'll play well. Another team I think is I have noted as kind of a sleeper or surprising team here is the St. Louis Billikens. The
yeah,
St. Louis Billikens, 24-2. They have what I think they're going to be. I think an upset. They're going to upset somebody, and I think that they've got just the March Madness type guy on their team, Robbie Avila. He is just an unathletic basketball player's dream. That's like what.
yep.
That's just what he is. Like he's just out there like playing pickup basketball and like he's doing it for a team and they're winning games. So I think St. Louis is gonna I don't know if they're gonna make a run, but I think they could win a game or two in the tournament. But yeah, those are my surprising teams. I agree with you. I feel bad for Texas Tech and BYU. I liked both of them also. I think they were playing well and had potential to make a little bit of a run in the tournament, but now they've lost some star players, both of them. So it is unfortunate.
hmm
And yeah, Duke is the real deal. It's going to be, I think it's be a really fun one Saturday. I think we have Duke, Michigan, Arizona, Houston kind of back to back. I think that'll be an afternoon of basketball. It should be good.
hmm Yeah. And I'll have to come back with some more as we get closer to March Madness. I got more stats up my sleeve as far as who you should pick in the brackets and whatnot. And it's interesting. Are you familiar with KenPom rankings in
Yeah.
basketball?
Yep.
Yeah. So I like digging into those kind of stats too. I think they're just really good at, like you said, with Miami, Ohio, trying the best they can to account for strength of schedule and
Yeah.
um, all sorts of different factors that teams have all different circumstances, and it does a good job of kind of ranking the teams accordingly in a relatively accurate way. Yeah, one of my stats as well. I don't remember. I think it's right around 20 years that every champion has been in the top 25 in the KenPom
Yeah.
rankings going into March
hmm
Madness as well. So yeah, fun stats like that to keep an eye on. Lots of fun games, and yeah, it just really it's a peak time of the year when you get conference championship week right into the selection Sunday into the first weekend of March Madness. I will be now on my this will be my third year now of my annual tradition of taking off work for the Thursday and Friday of the first weekend of March Madness and putting up a couple TVs in the living room and watching every single game. And it's glorious. Highly recommend to anyone out there considering doing that. It's a good time.
I I've done that since like high school. I've like taken off in high school and like just not gone in Thursday and Friday. So yeah, it is a good time. It's the honestly it's the two best days of the year. It's just, the other day it was really nice outside. We're getting, we had that cold spell, and then it got to be 50 some degrees. And, we were walking outside, and I just said, I'm like, wow, this is like March Madness weather. It just like feels like March Madness. So there's a certain, like a little bit of a crisp in the air, but there's sun shining down on you. And I don't know, something about it. And, playing hooky on Thursday and Friday and watching basketball. It's definitely a good time.
Yeah, I was just gonna
And
say,
like,
being in
go ahead.
Wisconsin, like the weather plays a factor in the magic of it too. Like it feels like that weekend it's always sunny out, and
Yeah.
it's hitting 50 degrees, and it's just feeling so good. It's just a great time of year.
You hit like the break at like 4:45 and you just like step outside for a second to like feel the sun, and it's like, oh my God, this is incredible. Yeah, it's a great time of year for sure. Yeah, like I said, the two is probably the best days in sports. It's just all day long. I mean, you're going 11 a.m. to really like midnight virtually.
Yeah,
And then you do it again the next day. And,
and you've got a
you
dog in
know,
every fight because you
you've
picked
got a
every game.
dog. Yeah,
Your
you've
bracket's
got a dog in
perfect.
every fight. Yep. Dog in every fight. And I'll never forget that I think I've been with you 2 Saturdays now, two of the round of 32. And after that last game, and then, AEW wrestling comes on, and we just like sit there, and there it is. And we just like, oh, this is the one time a year, I guess we're going to watch AEW wrestling for whatever reason. But
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. It's just the vibe of it all. It all just goes together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to this Saturday and the rest of the season to come, and that we can lead into our lock of the week here. What do you have for us?
My lock of the week is college basketball. So, last week or I guess the last episode, I did lose. So I'm 2-2 now. Kenneth Walker did not score a touchdown. At least that was not unpenalized. My lock of this week is in the Michigan Duke game. I like the over 148 and a half. I think that is going to be a just banger of an offensive game. I think there will be defense played. I think there's going to be a lot of 3-point shooting. I think the offensive glass and rims are going to be attacked. So I think there's going to be a lot of scoring there. So I have the over 148 and a half.
I like that pick. Yeah, I mean, when you get to high level basketball, good offense beats good defense. So
Yep.
two elite teams with great players, I could definitely see the score getting up there. I also went to that game for my lock of the week, and I am going with Michigan -2.5 as the favorites here. They're going to cover that.
Wow.
Michigan. I'm rocking with you this weekend here. They've just been such an impressive team. I know Duke has too, but really, besides the one hiccup against the Badgers, Michigan has just taken care of business against bad teams, against good teams. It hasn't really mattered. So
Yeah.
I like them, especially coming off a big win at Purdue. And this game is a neutral site. It's not at Duke.
Yeah.
So I like Michigan to carry the momentum and bring the energy in there and take down Duke by
I like
3
it.
or more.
I like it.
All right. Then I guess that kind of wraps up our college basketball. And then last thing to hit on here is the Olympics. We're kind of in the middle of them here. I think we're over halfway through. Few good days left. Lots of championships coming up in hockey. USA women are in the championship match against Canada tomorrow, I believe, as we're
Yep.
recording this. And the men got a big win today in overtime, 2-1 to get to the semis, I believe. So it's cool seeing the USA do well in hockey. That's one of I feel like the highlight sports of the Winter Olympics. Everyone, you really get your team pride in there, and there's a lot of countries that are big hockey countries out there. So it's fun seeing the USA compete. The women have just been dominant. I
Yeah,
mean,
they've been crazy.
I don't think they've allowed a goal, and I think they've scored 4 or more in every game they've played. So they've just been absolutely amazing. The men, yeah, went to overtime today, but got the job done. So yeah, looking forward to see if they can keep it rolling. Moving to a different sport. Have you seen the allegations against Canada's curling team?
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
crazy
I
stuff.
have.
We've got a full-on cheating scandal in the Olympics. But as far as I've seen, they're not getting penalized for it because they're not getting caught by official cameras.
Yeah. That's kind of what it's come down to, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, it was called out in one of the games, I think, and
Yeah.
then yeah, they kind of said like, hey, there's we haven't, we didn't see it, or it wasn't on the cameras, and so, or the official cameras rather. So yeah, they're not being penalized for it, but it is interesting to think about that. Hey, this can happen in the Olympics, obviously, and it makes you wonder, like, is this how they're always playing the game? Is there a little obviously they had to qualify or be good enough to get here. Is this, were they a little bit fraudulent to begin with?
Yeah, yeah, you don't know. Now you almost have to assume they've been cheating the whole way. And
Right.
I mean, from the casual fan standpoint, I mean, what it is he's releasing the stone and then nudging it with his fingers
Yeah.
after it crosses the line, which you're not allowed to touch it across the line, and you're not allowed to touch anything besides the handle of the stone. So
Right.
it's illegal in a couple different ways, but you see it and it's just the tiniest little nudge, and you just wonder, like, is that really necessary? You would think you could just get away without doing that and have a good
So
throw,
I thought,
but I mean,
I thought
I've never
about
played
that.
it, so
I did think about that, and I thought the same thing of like, hey, does it matter? Like, is it making that big of a difference? But when you watch a little bit otherwise, like, really small movements matter. I mean,
Yeah.
they're sitting there, sweeping or whatever you call it, and you got to stop at just the right time. And if you stop at the right time, it lands in just the right spot. And, any small, sometimes you see like, oh, they swept a little bit too much, and then it goes a little bit too far. So shoving it could, having a little push could make a difference. So I don't know. I think it probably does matter in the grand scheme of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I think it matters. I guess for me, it's more so like I feel like you would have more control as you're just releasing the handle than you would
Sure.
off your little nudge with the end of your
Yeah.
finger. That
Right.
I'm curious what he gets control wise doing that versus
Yeah.
just throwing it legally. But yeah, interesting. I'm curious if there's going to be any repercussions after the fact. Obviously, there's none right now, but I guess yeah, we got a cheating scandal at the Olympics. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any Olympics topics you want to hit on?
I'll just go back to hockey for a little bit. First of all, I mean, looking at men's hockey, so both the United States and Canada won today to go to the semifinals. It took both of them overtime to win.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine a semifinals or a finals without the United States or Canada in it for hockey? That would have been crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw the other team, the team that USA played today in Canada. I don't remember exactly who they were, but I did see them yesterday. They both played in pretty close games to qualify to play today. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I wonder if these are going to be closer games tomorrow. And sure enough, they were both overtime games. So that would have been crazy for even one of them to be eliminated. It would have been kind of like, oh my gosh, it's not going to be USA and Canada in the finals. So, I like both of them to pick it up tomorrow and win, and it'll be another USA Canada showdown, and either Friday or Saturday this week. So, yeah, I think that'll be good for hockey. And then the USA women, I mean, they've been playing crazy, like you said, out of their mind. You're right. I don't think they've allowed a goal yet, and they've beaten teams handily. I mean, they'd be fine scoring a goal or two, but they've been scoring a lot. So feels good with them too. So hopefully both USA teams can go out there and get the gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess this was just a complete side note, not really relevant to the Olympics, but I learned a couple days ago that USA snowboarder Chloe Kim is dating Miles Garrett.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was at the Olympics taking pictures, and then all of a sudden I saw she won a silver medal, and they were kissing each other, and I was like, oh, seems like they're together.
They must be dating.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but otherwise, I honestly haven't watched that much Olympics. For whatever reason, this year I've been less inclined to turn them on and watch. Have you been watching much, or are you kind of the same boat as me?
I've watched some, and actually, I think I've watched more this year than I normally have. I've actually, in the past, I just I don't know, the Olympics just don't do it a whole lot for me. It's cool. But I don't know. I just haven't normally sat down and just watched the Olympics. There's been a couple days I have. And the problem you have with the Olympics in general, not just, these Winter Olympics and Winter Olympics in general, but they're always in places that are broadcasted live at 2, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, whatever it might be. And now, especially with social media and news alerts and whatever, what happens. And it's oh, the USA beat Canada. Well, I don't need to watch it then, I guess. And so that's, part of it too. But yeah, there's been a couple days. I mean, I've, especially on the weekend, I've, turned it on in the morning and whatnot and watched it. I think, curling actually is something that's been interesting to watch. I've actually enjoyed watching curling a little bit. I still fully don't 100% get it all. You can sometimes I watch it and I'm like, oh, okay. I think I understand what's going on. And then I'm like, oh, I thought there were supposed to be 3 points scored there and only one was scored or whatever it might be. So still putting pieces of it together, but I've enjoyed curling more than in the past. And I think the nice part too about the Summer Olympics coming up, them being in the United States, is they'll be at a decent hour. So you'll be able to watch them and be a little bit more engaged then. Some things will be happening after work and, not at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about it too. Maybe for me, being less motivated to actually turn them on and watch is just that in this day and age, I guess, call it 15 years ago, the Olympics was the time to see all these unique sports and cool, insane tricks being done. Where now you can get that on your social media feed all the time. You get all for whatever reason, Red Bull sponsors the craziest things ever. People doing random crap. I saw a video last week. It was a guy skiing down Mount Everest, first guy to ever do it. And it's just you can get all these extreme sports
on any day.
The year. You don't need to just tune into this one huge event to see it. So I think that might be part of why it's not as intriguing to me, is just because, I mean, seeing them do snowboard half pipe, it's pretty cool, but it's just not this is my one time in 4 years I'll get to see a guy do a cool trick on a snowboard. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still fun, and brings out the patriotism in you, rooting for the US to.
Yeah.
I think last I saw they were third in the medal count.
I've got them at third in the medal count at This was as of this morning or earlier today, but at 24. So that's probably changed a little bit. But looks like they're down 9 or so in the medal count. So may have changed a little bit in the last, in today. But yes, third in the medal count. So we got some work to do for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Well, all right. I guess that's all I kind of got on the Olympics, unless you have anything
Yeah.
else. But
Oh, that's all I got. And next time we'll be back and we can talk more about. Next time we'll be big into college basketball in 2 weeks. I mean, we'll be into March at that point, so we'll be probably a week short or a week early from conference tournament weekend. Or conference tournament week. So we'll have a lot to talk about there, and then we'll be able to start figuring out the bracket and be going through there in a couple of weeks from now. So
yeah. Next episode we should be able to hit college basketball pretty hard. We may have our first guest appearance on the show next episode.
yes,
Our UFC specialist, my other brother-in-law, Paul Kramer. So he might be coming on. There's a big fight on March 7th with the main card's full of some big names. So he'll give us the rundown on that. I've been getting more and more into the UFC. Just hanging out with him. We'll have it on sometimes, and it's fun to watch. And so yeah, I've been definitely getting pulled more into it. Have you watched it at all, or not really?
not a ton. I have not done a ton of UFC, but you know what? We're gonna hear Paul's insight next time, hopefully, and you know what? He might get me into it, and we might spend Saturday then watching UFC. So we'll see.
Yeah, should be good stuff coming up. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.